Welcome to the Festival of Media Asia Pacific in Singapore. I'm day 2. I'm delighted to say that I'm joined by Shiv Shivakumar from PepsiCo India, who's just opened the second day at the festival with a fascinating insight into what brands from the West can perhaps learn from brands from the East. You very eloquently depicted a rapidly changing consumer environment that brands must operate in. How difficult do you think it is for especially big brands like, brand owners like PepsiCo to cope and to move at that pace?
I don't think the issue is whether a brand is big or small. I think the issue is what is a brand's philosophy, what's its promise. And every brand builds trust and does more with consumers when it keeps enhancing on its promise. The big difference in today's world is you have to be far more responsive and be far quicker than ever before. And that is something which I think every brand team has to truly recognize and say, hey, we need to truly take care of what the consumer is talking about us and lead him or her in the right direction for the brand.
One of the points I thought was really interesting was that you suggested that consumers in markets such as India are far more prepared to engage with brands, and perhaps the brands fulfill a greater role within their aspirations and their lives. And you mentioned that PepsiCo in India is running a competition at the moment, which you said that you've been deluged with entries to create an ad for the brand. Is that a symbol, do you think, of the difference between markets such as the US and India?
Yeah, so that's absolutely right. I think today consumers are far more willing to interact with brands because they know that here's something that you can do. You go to the brand site, you talk about the brand, you hear from the brand, etc. What we've done in PepsiCo India is interesting. We have a program called Crash the IPL, where in essence we've asked consumers to make ads for the brand Pepsi, the soft drink. We've given them a set of tools and said, okay, this is the broad direction, now it's your call. We actually learned this from our parent company in America, and they had a Crash the Super Bowl kind of an idea. And we're getting tons of people. We're getting from specialists like ad agencies and studios. We're getting from consumers, and we're also getting from prosumers, people who are a little more ahead of the curve. So all three sets of people are coming through. We have about 6 ads we'll pick, and we'll run them. There's an eminent jury which is doing that. I think this is a great example of user-generated content, but in the heart of the brand with very clear lines of responsibility saying, we will honor these responsibility.
And final question, you talked at some length about the marketing department of the future and what that might look like, and I thought one of the interesting words you used to describe that team is humble. What do you think that means in practice?
I think what it means in practice is take a simple tool like social listening. If you're listening to your consumers every day, you virtually get a green light, red light, and an amber light in terms of what they're saying about your brands. What's the number of positive comments? What's the number of challenging comments? Almost every day you know whether you are connecting with the consumer or not. So it's a very humbling experience to put out something and within 24 hours to get feedback to say, hey, this is working, you guys are doing a great job, or you're not doing a great job and you better do something. Okay, so I think digital will make brands listen far more to consumers. And the more you listen to consumers, 1, you get more experienced and wiser, but 2, you get even more humble.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you. All the very best.